So my next question, Sanjeevji, this has to do with change. And we've mentioned this before, but the way I want to ask you about this is why is it that many of us often feel helpless in the face of change?
It's an interesting question. But before I answer, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what is the most dangerous place to live in?
In the dark.
Maybe. But even more dangerous in the dark.
What?
Your comfort zone. Because we are so comfortable in our zones. And the moment this word or the idea of change comes, puts us in a huge discomfort. And that's why we start fearing. First of all, you feel that there's no need to change. I'm comfort. I'm living in a comfortable state.
Right.
Why should I change? And then also understand change is not easy. Change still may be a little bit easier. Transformation, very difficult. A lot of work is needed. Comfort zone means getting most of the things done with least amount of work. Whereas change and transformation is leaving that comfort zone, taking on a challenge, learning new things, doing sadhana, doing meditations, to remove my garbage, to bring in the change, to bring in the transformation. So anything that is, this has even a least bit of a suggestion to most people to come out of their comfort zone, it creates a sense of fear and hopelessness. And I don't want it. Oh, why should I do it? You know, it's like there's a friend of mine, super overweight. And I asked him, like, why don't you go to the gym? He says, like, I am comfortable. And he says, sometimes I do get this strong urge from inside that I have this feeling, that I should start going to the gym. And I was happy. He says, then what do you do? He says, I sit back, take a few deep breaths till that feeling goes away. Then I sit back in my comfort zone again.
Wow, no way.
So this is like what I say is the reason why we are sitting comfortably in our zones and not wanting a change. Even the suggestion of a change brings fear and hopelessness.
Is it because we've tried to change a lot before and failed?
Sometimes you've tried, like, first of all, tried comes secondary. Primary is that there is no need for change. I'm comfortable. I'm okay. So the little bit of a few things that I don't have in my life, I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it.
And is that why change is typically such a painful process? Like, is that why it is that people shy away from getting out of their comfort zone because it's so painful?
This is a very important question, Ali. Change is uncomfortable. Transformation is painful. Because a little bit of change here and there is not going to change me or my life and my outcomes significantly. Transformation will. I'll give you an example, right? You take a seed, and when you plant it in the ground, it doesn't change. It transforms. That process, if you were able to see this, first of all, it breaks open. It loses itself completely what it was. And then after the breaking of the seed happens, a sprout appears, which slowly grows. For a seed to turn into a plant and a tree, it's a painful process. It's a transformation. It's not that the seed is round, you have made it little elongated. No. look at a butterfly, evolution of butterfly. You know, larva, pupa, and then they create that, what you call, cocoon. And when that cocoon bursts out, the butterfly has to put its effort, life to come out of that cocoon, to burst that cocoon open, and then come out beautiful as a. If you look at larva, pupil, cocoon, they're not very pleasant to look at. Butterfly is. So if you look at change, transformation, it will be painful. I can give you another example because there are many to show, because we need to know different scenarios to kind of understand and get some motivation to change. If you see an eagle, the life of an eagle lives about 70, 80 years. But most people don't know by the age 40, its sharpest beak, it starts becoming crooked. It claws, which, to catch his prey, they curl up. Its feathers become heavy. And now, if it chooses to be like this, it cannot catch any prey, eventually die. But that's not what the eagle does. It goes, climbs a very high place like a mountain or a rock. And first, what it does is it bangs its beak on the rock and breaks it. It bleeds. Then it rubs its claws on the rocks and they break away. Their claws bleed. And slowly, he cannot eat. He's starving for that time. Slowly, the beak, fresh beak, comes out. And now he uses his beak to pluck off all the excess feathers. And after all this process happens, his brand new beak, new sharp claws come out, and his feathers are lightweight. Then he goes on to live another 40 years. So it transforms, no change. And this is the only way of success in life, even materially and spiritually both. You need to transform. And if you want to transform, you will need to go through some pain. There's no free lunch in this world.
And does it mean that transformation is a accumulation of a whole bunch of small changes that we're making, or then what's the process of transformation instead of just changing one small thing at a time?
It could be, but after a series of changes, if this object or thing that you have started with is still more or less the same, it's still a series of changes. Transformation that you do not look like what you were before. Like this eagle at the age 40, it's an old, heavy, bulky, curved claws. There's no change in this. When the whole transformation is over, it's like a brand new young eagle again. Like the butterfly has no resemblance to a pupa or a larva. Nothing.
So all eagles will do this then, or is it just
All eagles have to do this.
why is it that the eagle has the strength and many humans don't realize that strength?
See, we don't know how this is, like why only eagles, not others. But what we know is that as human beings, we can look for inspiration in these instances. So instead of asking why, we ask ourselves how I can be like that eagle and bring transformation in my life.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah.
To watch the full podcast, click here. And to watch our previous podcasts, click here.